Hey, gang. Now that one tank is emptied and the other is refilled, let's continue with part two. Well, absolutely. And that's why when I said, I think I've got a topic for today, and it's a continuation of our screw tape discussions.
Discussion. Okay.
We talked before about how we believe the Republican Party is using the screw tape letters as their playbook.
Yes.
And here the Catholic Church is kind of doing the same thing. They are taking their followers and giving them a reason to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're creating the reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's no
Well,
different than
that's how you capture. That's how you capture the people. You give them a reason to believe what it is you're trying to save them from. And you have to invent the reason in order to make it manageable, shall we say. And so the Republican Party has created all sorts of fears about all kinds of things so that they can come in and rescue us from those particular fears, right?
and yeah, and that's exactly it. Trump doesn't want Johnson and the Republican Party to act on the bills that are before them to
Mm-hmm.
secure the border
Mm-hmm.
because he
Right,
wants that to be a campaign issue.
right. He
And
wants to
one of
continue
the
the
actual
fears so that he
Republicans,
can. Mm-hmm. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Well,
Yep.
one of the Republicans said that's like starting a fire in someone's house and then putting it out and claiming the credit for putting out the fire.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
started it in the first place,
Exactly. Yep.
and
Yep.
we've really. At first I didn't want to say that when you had said and the Republican Party is blah blah blah. I wanted to clarify and say, well, it's the Republican Party under Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it a minute. I said, wait a minute. Didn't Bush do that same thing with Iraq?
Yes.
Weapons of mass destruction
Yeah.
that were never found right up to and including the day they executed Saddam Hussein.
Are you saying? I mean, I'm naive. I know that, but I don't believe or didn't believe that the weapons of mass destruction were a fabrication of a political party in the United States.
They were never found. And in fact,
Well, right, but are you
well,
are
when the
you
late
saying a deliberate
almost
a deliberate fabrication of weapons of mass destruction in order to produce a war or
have
create
a
a war?
reason
Wow.
to go finish his
Yeah.
dad's job, and it was to Al
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein,
Yeah.
who, by the way, our country put in there in the first place.
You know more history than I do. That's for sure.
The
But
last time another kingdom was brought down.
yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
anyway, Johnson ma- made a move. Michael
yeah,
Johnson made a move. I mean, hello. Do we
with
give
all
him
this
credit
talk of
for
the
that?
'70s, oh yeah. But with all this talk of the '70s, when you said Johnson, I thought you were talking about Lyndon, but
Oh, okay. Sorry, Michael.
no, but no, I know which one. Yeah, so over the weekend, he had the aid packages to um,
Ukraine
Ukraine,
and
Israel,
Israel and
Taiwan,
Taiwan
and a
and
fourth one.
assorted other things. And a
Well, the
fourth one?
fourth one was to the U.S. essentially,
Right.
and that
Okay.
is the effort to ban TikTok,
Yep. 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 Yep.
the social media application TikTok or platform TikTok. Um, I know we talked about this on the lunchtime happy hour, our most recent episode there. Um, I know that they can't reveal intelligence. I spent 21 years not being able to do that. But if this passes and if President Biden signs this, there needs to be a clear accusatory explanation as to why. Because too many young voters like my son are going to
Mm-hmm.
go apeshit when they can't
Mm-hmm.
use TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And what the guys on my show, Lunchtime Happy Hour, suggested is that it's not going to be a total ban.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be a forceful effort and ultimately a successful one, or it will be a ban of the US government forcing the Chinese government to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be no direct control of the Chinese government to use it for the intelligence purposes that they're already using it for.
Using. Right, 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 right.
Maybe not to the level of what they were originally accused of, but we know as a fact the Russian government used social media to influence the 2016 election, and they tried to do it in
Mm-hmm.
2020.
Mm-hmm.
What this is preventing is China from doing the same thing that
Thing.
they're already trying to do.
Right, right. A little
Um,
late to the
but
party,
again, it comes
perhaps.
back to,
Yep.
well, not for our sake versus China, because they didn't have any involvement in the previous ones, especially not at the level that the Russians did, but maybe a little late to the party for China. Yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then
But
again,
better late than never, I guess.
we've got other problems with that in that China also makes a lot of the high level microchips
Mm-hmm.
that are used in everything in the United
Mm-hmm.
States.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, one of the guys, Blake Fisher, gave a stat. And I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to have to encourage everybody to go back to this past most recent episode. But of all of the major industries in the United States, there are X percentage of them. Again, I don't remember exactly which one, but X percentage that are directly reliant on chip technology,
Mm-hmm.
banking, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
from your phone or an ATM machine that uses
Well,
GPS.
get this, Linda Osterberry. You know her, Linda Robach Osterberry.
Okay.
Is a she does pottery, and she went to buy glazes, and apparently the price of the materials she uses to create glazes has skyrocketed because it includes some of the chemistry that is involved in the creation of all this kind of stuff for technology.
Silicon
So it
chips.
infiltrates, yeah,
Silicon
it
chips.
infiltrate the metallic portions of it infiltrate even the arts. So I found that
Yeah.
fascinating. But yeah, so the first Omen, what were you left with at the end of the
Um,
movie in our world today, if
I
anything?
wanted to. Yeah, I answered this question to the Secret Service during my application process about how bad I wanted to be a Secret Service agent, and I said, you see a John Wayne movie and you want to be a cowboy, or you want to rush a hill, as part of an infantry, but it would always come back to wanting to go into the Secret Service. I
Okay.
left that. I left the first Omen last night, almost wanting to be the next Constantine. If you know that movie or series of movies, it's with Keanu Reeves, where he
Oh,
plays an
yes. Okay. Yes,
excommunicated
yes,
priest,
yes, yes, yes,
and
yes,
he does devil hunting of sorts.
yes.
Um, and I'm
You
like,
want to be
because
part of
again,
it.
that's why. Not really, but yeah, the movie does its job. It makes you want to, it makes you question the Catholic Church, who, let's be honest, it wasn't the devil, and it wasn't yet Damon. It was the Catholic Church that was
Mm-hmm.
the real bad guy in the first Omen, and that's what we're talking about. is
Mm-hmm.
starting a fire to get credit to put it out,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
manipulating others like the screw
mm-hmm.
tape letters, manipulating others to take a certain path in life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's largely what I think is commonly known Catholic orphanages are known for doing,
Mm-hmm.
is breeding priests and nuns from within.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they do have no other path to go, and they have saved them from crime and poverty and whatever else. But it's certainly a manufacturing spot,
Wow.
and it
I
what
mean,
all
yeah.
exactly are they manufacturing besides the good
So
people, and that you create a priest or a nun, they're also creating the reason to have them.
in order to continue to survive, that does remind me of the Republican Party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got to keep certain things going so that people continue to be fearful and rely on us to save them. And therefore that will continue our employment as civil servants in the Republican Party. It's so sad. What does one do in terms of an individual life like ours in order to confront some of this, in order to offer some amelioration for that? What does one do? I mean,
What?
yeah, what does one do
Well,
today?
there's a church 6 doors down the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's There's a church 6 doors down the street from me. It's our community center,
Okay.
and a young up and coming minister rents it every Sunday to have his own church services in there, and it's growing. But for me, mom says, "Well, why don't you just go to that one?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know that I'm not welcome there for being gay and a single man with a teenage son and whatever other accusation people want to make." But I was never interested in going to churches or anywhere where I wasn't welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And as a gay man, most of them don't like that, which is another thing with the Catholic Church is how many of them are priests
Mm-hmm.
less than
Latent. Yep.
choir boys.
Yep.
Um, but you can't be gay. That's a sin.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Matt.
I'm getting back into taking my daily walks.
Mm-hmm.
I get up in the morning. I haven't done it yet, but because I wanted to get ready for today. But probably before Zach and I leave, I might walk out to the water and back. And that is my church service every
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
And go out and I look at the Gulf of Mexico and say, "Man can't make this."
And you run your church service through your programs that are, as you say, positive talk in a negative world.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
very
we
much so.
try to bring it. We try to bring it in some sort of positive way, tiny as it may be, because that's all we can do, I suppose. One person at a time. In my case, one Be Inspired episode at a time, one
Are you
article at a
using a
time.
derivative of that, by the way?
Am I
Are you
using
using a?
what?
Do you say you're using a derivative of that? I think like positive
Talk.
conversation, or did you say something like? Well,
Yeah, I
no,
used
that
it
we use.
somewhere in a
I
negative
thought that was
world.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I think
love
you say
it.
positive. I think you say positive conversation with regards to what you do on Be Inspired.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started kind of like jumping around, when I saw that. I'm like, oh wow, somebody, an adaptation of my
I
idea.
love it. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
love it because
that's
that's
awesome.
exactly what we're trying to do. And sadly, it's not, just like they say, a lie travels around the world when the truth is just putting its shoes on. Okay. Drama in a negative way, fear and anger are so engaging, so compelling, so attractive compared to the peace and serenity that we offer. And so while we'll probably never go viral in any way, shape, or form, I guess we just got to keep plugging away because that's the right thing to do in my
Huh.
in my tiny little brain. But
Well,
anyway,
I mean,
so yeah.
so First Omen is also just another example of art imitating reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you sit back and you leave that theater going, on some level anyway. Maybe the whole, not the big 20-foot tall demon, but
Right.
on some level that can happen.
And on
And
some
even
level,
with go
and
ahead.
on some level, we can take action against it.
Yeah,
Not against a
yeah,
20-foot
absolutely.
demon, but whatever shows
Well,
up in our
see,
world
that's
on a
what I was
regular
just
basis. Is that what
that's
you
what I
were
was
going to
just
say?
about
I
to say.
interrupted you.
Uh,
I'm so sorry.
no, no, that's okay. No, no, no.
I have a
With
tendency.
regards to the 20-foot demon,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those that everybody says, "Oh, there's no such thing as Bigfoot."
Mm.
How do you know?
I know.
Did you kill the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you haven't seen it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yep.
And so, I
Okay, so
mean,
here's the question for you. Where in your world, your private world, do you see demons?
what? And that's, God damn it! I thought I'd shut this off. Um, that's the point. That's the point of the whole movie and the whole series of movies. Of maybe those demons are metaphorical, but they are there. The demons are the manipulation being done by, in that case, the Catholic Church or the Republican Party, or specifically Trump or the Bush administration, or Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman.
Right.
Getting
Define
everybody to
sex.
believe him
Right.
was manipulation.
Mm-hmm. It was gaslighting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think, and again, that's why I think suspense movies like this, suspense horrors, whatever like that, that actually have a real plot,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the slasher films that's just one guy chasing everybody who are making
Mm-hmm.
a series of stupid decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like the Geico commercial. Why don't we get in the running car? No, let's go hide behind all those chainsaws. Okay, that's a good idea. And the bad guy's even giving a look like, Jesus Christ. Uh, uh, you know, it gives. I like these movies because it gives you a real life scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, in this particular one, and then therefore throughout the whole series of movies of the Omen series, and there's actually like 5 other movies already. The first one plus 4 sequels. It gives you a real life, and I'm not going to say the Catholic Church is bad. We all have
Mm-hmm.
issues,
Yes.
but it gives you a real to life potential villain.
Mm-hmm.
And what I liked even more about the first Omen, without being Siskel and Ebert, it didn't really give us the solution. Like, what do you do? She thought she
Well,
had it.
that's my question.
And again, without being a spoiler, you and because again, because in the Omen, you now figure out Damien survives because that's the
Mm-hmm.
Omen, the first movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of a climactic thing at the end too. There was somebody from the cast who visits other cast members who've successfully escaped, and they say, just get away from us. We don't want anything to do with the Catholic Church anymore. Maybe that's possibly the suggested answer. And before that one priest leaves, he said, the boy survived. They named him Damien.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you knew that because the next movie,
Right. Right.
The Omen.
Right. 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 Right.
Um,
Right.
so again, not a spoiler there at all because you know that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it leaves, and I guess that's where we're at in life too. There's still a lot that's open. Hey, gang, we did it again. We talked long enough to create an episode before actually starting the episode. So, this will be an intermission. Take your bathroom break, refill your coffee or cocktail, and we'll see you back here